for saying my babysitting rates are $35 an hour?
I'm a software engineer, with a full-time job and a side hustle of doing freelance coding work in my own time. I've always been the type to have a side hustle I put a lot of my free time into. I get really bored sitting idle. My freelance hourly rates are $60 an hour, and at my full-time job, my hourly pay works out to about $40 an hour. So that's how I value my time. Anyway, over Christmas vacation, I was staying at my parents' house. My cousin was also staying over with her 3 young kids from Christmas to New Year's. I'd been planning on doing some work on my freelance projects when I had free time, in the mornings when my family had no plans. I wasn't in any rush, I was already ahead of schedule on them all, but I didn't really have anything else to do. It was in a really rural area and it's like an hour drive to the nearest anything. Then my cousin and her husband asked if I could babysit all day for 3 days, so they could visit some friends in the area and hang out with just adults. I said I had planned on doing freelance work at the library, and she offered to pay me to babysit. I said I could if they got close to my freelance rates. She wanted a number, and although my freelance rates are $60, I didn't feel like that was right. It was high. But I didn't want to go too low. Honestly, babysitting 3 kids would be harder for me than the routine coding work I had for my freelance project. I don't know a lot about kids and I've never babysat for long, and I had a feeling it would be stressful and difficult. So I said $35, which is below what I make hourly at work, and what is the bare minimum I'd value my time for, if that time is spent doing difficult work. And she went crazy at me, saying that's a ridiculous rate for babysitting, that I was entitled and being selfish, that I'm trying to take advantage of how she didn't have other options, etc. I said that's way below what I'd be making if I had the time to do my own work, and I'd be putting off my own work to babysit. Her husband then got mad at me saying that I was a 24-year-old girl, that I'm damn near a child myself, that my time is not worth that much and it's childish to say that it was. And that I was a stupid girl for not knowing that babysitting costs like $15 an hour. When I grew up and have kids of my own, I will see how stupid I was being. I was kind of done with being called stupid, so I just told them I hope they could find someone else. My mom thinks that I asked for something offensive, and my cousin and her husband obviously did too. For giving that number? 3 kids all day, for 3 straight days? Even real babysitters would charge more than $15 for 3 kids. Obviously they wanted you to do it as a favor, and got upset that you treated it as an actual job. Exactly. I used to babysit, at the age of 20, not a teenager, and other girls who babysat charged $15 per hour per child. If they took their children to a daycare, I believe it would be priced out the same. You don't get a bulk deal for having more kids. If they really wanted to go away for 3 days, they should have arranged a sitter in advance. The husband saying you're a 24-year-old girl, BTW, you're a woman at 24, and your time isn't worth anything is ridiculous considering you'd get paid $60 an hour if you don't babysit their kids. The husband sounds like a sexist dick. Plus you told them you wouldn't babysit if they couldn't approach your rate. You probably should have just said no from the start, but you did inform them that it would be expensive. Don't worry about it too much. He has no idea how much her time is worth. Good on OP for setting her value high. They both sound like fucking assholes. Her husband then got mad at me saying that I was a 24-year-old girl, that I'm damn near a child myself, that my time is not worth that much and it's childish to say that it was. And that I was a stupid girl for not knowing that babysitting costs like $15 an hour. They're basically saying her pay stub isn't true when we're dealing with facts. Man, the fucking irony of them calling her entitled. And she went crazy at me, saying that's a ridiculous rate for babysitting, that I was entitled and being selfish, that I'm trying to take advantage of how she didn't have other options, etc. I would have bowed out immediately and told her to have fun dealing with no options. Her husband then got mad at me saying that I was a 24-year-old girl, that I'm damn near a child myself, that my time is not worth that much and it's childish to say that it was. And that I was a stupid girl for not knowing that babysitting costs like $15 an hour. When I grew up and have kids of my own, I will see how stupid I was being. Yes, what a stupid girl you are for knowing what your time is worth. Right? I love how they tried to guilt trip her with the "I have no other options" line. as if they're facing some kind of unexpected emergency and really need ops help in this situation. What a bunch of bull. They just wanted to go out and party with their friends for 3 days straight and thought they could take advantage of OP and just dump their kids on her while they lived it up. They expected her to drop everything and give up her vacation so they could have a spontaneous vacation of their own, entitled as that they are. A. If they need a babysitter that badly, they should have arranged for one in advance. B. You're being asked to babysit 3 kids. 3 kids is a lot of work. $15 sounds kinda absurd to me. C. You have your own life and an actual job that you would be neglecting, or freelance at least. That is worth almost double that amount. D. The only offensive ones are your cousin and husband who started calling you names when you didn't bend to their will. $15 an hour for 3 kids is $5 per kid. Which is what I charged as a 13-year-old back in 1994. And that was just my 4 hours or less rate. I charged more if I was expected to do all day for multiple days. They're being completely ridiculous. You're a stupid little girl who pulls $60 hour freelancing. I just started Salesforce training and I'd be happy to make half that freelancing. Good for you. Edit. To everyone saying she should have said no, she did. She explicitly told them she was going to the library to do some coding work. That's when they offered to pay her. Let's see those idiots try to program and then complain about OP earning that much from it. I feel like their demands for her to babysit may have a bit of underlying sexism too. She offered to pay you, you named your price, she didn't like it. Maybe she expected a discount. I would have gone with nah, except you actually named a price that isn't outside the norm compared to the going rates in my area. The general rule used to be $15 an hour for 1 kid, $20 an hour for 2 kids, but she has 3 young ones. When I had 3 younger kids I was quoted $30 an hour. I've never really gotten the point of family friends discounts. Like, if I know you and know you're in a tough situation and you need my services, sure I might offer you a discount. If I'm paying for your services and you're my friend though, I want to make sure you get paid extra well. It's more valuable to me knowing that, all else being equal, it's a friend who kinda actually cares about me doing the work and not just some stranger getting through his day. I would rather give my money to friends than to strangers. Trying to manipulate someone into giving me a lower price just because I want it, so I'm not super desperate or something, seems like the opposite of what a friend or family member should do. Because asking someone who is also on vacation to watch her kids for 3 days is kind of shitty. An evening, sure, but 3 whole days is crazy. Your time, your rates. To anyone saying it's not fair to charge that much, the price is the price. Nobody owes you cheap childcare, especially during the holidays at the last minute for several days. Honestly, $60 seems reasonable to me. $20 per brat per hour. Don't like it? Find someone else or maybe spend your holidays with your own damn kids instead of foisting them off on others. Gonna have to go with Ash here. You should have simply stated that you cannot babysit because you're working, period. If you agreed to babysit, you would be making a conscious decision to not work and earn. Charging family members $35 an hour to babysit, however, puts you in asshole category in the real world, as much as internet bubbles like Reddit may disagree. Your family members are assholes too for the way they reacted, and for not arranging for a babysitter for 3 days. You are the only one who can put a price on your time, because it's coming from your own life. That I'm damn near a child myself, that my time is not worth that much, and it's childish to say that it was. Oh really? I thought it was childish to be recklessly popping out kids when you make so little money that you'll act jealous of your damn near a child cousin who clearly makes more money and better life decisions than you do. NTA. And, if I were UOP, I'd put my foot down with anyone, even mom, who's even entertaining the notion of supporting that sexist asshole. Your cousin and her husband are ridiculously entitled and selfish. If they're that desperate for a babysitter, they can either pay it or find someone else. They clearly don't respect you or the work you do. It's too bad for your cousin that she sucks at planning. And it's too bad for her kids that she thinks that the point of a family vacation is to ditch her family for 3 days. You said that you'd do it if she approached your normal pay rate, then quoted her a nearly 50% discounted rate. And she reacted by attacking your professional qualifications. You could charge $1,000 an hour and you wouldn't be an ass. She can always just find someone else or look after her own kids. Anyone saying it clearly doesn't understand how freelancing or valuing your time works. If you were to take the babysitting gig, you'd be losing out on the $60 HR you'd otherwise be earning. Asking anything less than that to babysit is effectively taking money out of your pocket. You told them what your time was worth, and we are willing to even take a pay cut. If that's not worth it to them, then it's on them to find an alternative. I've had these same issues in the past where people want me to step away to help them out or cut them a deal for freelancing and then flip out when I tell them how much it will actually cost them. That's essentially parenting for 3 days. Especially if she expects you to do all the caregiving for 3 kids. That's a huge ask, and she should have asked if you could help for a date or an outing, but so they can gallivant carefree for several days? Nah sis. I have 2 kids and pay at least $15 HR to a high school student. Oftentimes as close to $20 because taking care of kids is freaking hard.